This TikToker got a hair transplant at the age of 27 and had the worst reaction you have ever seen. So this man right here on TikTok posted a video about himself getting a hair transplant just a few days ago, and as you can see, he was losing his hair and he probably did need to get the hair transplant.
The truth is, even if he did get a hair transplant, most people don't know this, but hair transplants don't last forever because they don't solve the root issue of hair loss in the first place, which is lack of blood flow to the follicle. As we age, we lose up to 40% of the circulation in our scalp, which carries blood flow and vital micronutrients to the follicle, to the cells of the follicle. If the follicles don't have enough nutrients, they fall into a dangerous dormant phase until eventually they'll die if they don't get re-stimulated. It's sort of like a battery that loses its charge day after day, and eventually that battery will die unless you recharge it. All the hair transplant does is cover up the core issue, which is that lack of blood flow and micronutrients to the follicles, which means as soon as that new transplant grows in, you're stuck with the same problem you had before, thinning every week, every month until that hair transplant, new hair falls out again. All a transplant does is simply move hair from one place to the other. But those newly transplanted hairs still end up in the same unhealthy environment, which is lacking those vital micronutrients. That's why so many people, unfortunately, don't understand this, and they say, hey, I'll take $15,000 that I have in my savings or put it on a credit card. I'll fly to a third world country that I've never been before, and at least it'll be fixed forever, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case. But the people that you're paying $15,000 to, they're not going to be the ones to tell you. Why would they tell you that it's not going to last forever? That just ruined their payday. And then go for a second or even a third hair transplant, spending thousands and thousands more dollars because they didn't go into it with the correct understanding that it is not fixing the root issue. So here's what transplant clinics don't tell you, the part that nobody talks about. Hair transplant clinics actually prescribe pure laser caps post-op to keep that newly implanted hair vibrant and healthy and make their patients even happier with the results after surgery, because they know those new grafts, they won't survive unless the blood flow issue is finally fixed. So they give patients these Cure laser cap devices to force more circulation into those newly implanted areas so the new hair doesn't die off. It was actually the new stimulation and increase of blood flow that kept the transplant hair healthy, not the hair transplant itself. So how is Cure different? Cure solves the problem naturally and effectively by targeting the root of the issue, which is lack of blood flow to that follicle. That's where the stem cell of the follicle is, at the root, which is where the hair cycle starts. And this is what Cure's exciting low-level laser light technology with precision clinical laser stimulation does. It expands blood vessels to improve circulation in the scalp. It carries more oxygen and nutrients to the hair follicles, and it recharges the stem cells that regulate your hair growth. A natural hair cycle goes from growing to dormant and then back to growing, which is why all of us, even when we're young, we have thick, beautiful, healthy hair, we have hair fall out in the shower. That's part of that normal cycle. And then as we get older, we lose that scalp circulation, we start to not have hair that's healthy enough to go from dormant back into the natural hair growth part of the phase. And that's when you start to see clumps in the shower, more and more hair, and then eventually you start to see a receding hairline, and that's very frustrating. And it actually uses the same medical grade laser technology that was discovered by NASA scientists, that was first discovered by a Harvard scientist, and used by NASA to promote wound healing in astronauts in space. It's FDA cleared, and supported evidence includes 6+ clinical studies showing a 93% increase in hair regrowth. Look, when you improve blood flow by up to 50% of your scalp, good things happen. Your hair finally has a chance to grow and thrive and be healthy just like it was supposed to. So let's talk about when you'll see results. Most people that we've seen over the years start seeing much less shedding in the shower 2 to 3 weeks post starting with Cure. Fast forward to month 2, they're seeing much less shedding still, basically no shedding at that point. They're starting to see a bit more shine in their hair. Sometimes people will say that they experience tingling in the scalp, which means that oxygen-rich blood is moving in the scalp for the first time in a while, and people say that it kind of feels nice and warm and stimulating to them. And by month 4 to 6, people are really starting to see thicker, fuller hair, and those receding areas are starting to fill back in. By month 2, people notice baby hairs starting to fill in those problem areas. And by months 6 to 7, it is a major transformation. A lot of our customers have reported their salon or their friends that I haven't seen in a while think that they literally got a hair transplant. People are very happy. And like I said earlier, as long as you keep using it a couple times a week, that will stay, and you've got natural results without any of the side effects we talked about with the other drugs. Now let's talk about something extremely important. Why should you take action now? Look, whether you've just started noticing thinning or you've thought about a transplant and you've looked at all other options that I've talked about here, you need to act immediately. And here's why. Because if you're seeing thinning, that means you've already lost 20 to 30% of your hair density. And some follicles have already entered that dormant phase we talked about earlier, which means that every month that you allow those follicles to stay in that dormant phase, they run the risk of eventually dying. And once they die, you can't bring them back. I tell people it's like witchcraft. You can bring something back from the brink of death, just like in the old Disney movies, but once it's died and crossed over, there's no bringing it back. Look, Here isn't a new company. We've been around for 7 years and helped over 125,000 men and women just like you get rid of frustrating emotional hair loss. And again, Cure's helped over 125,000 people to date. We've got an A rating on the Better Business Bureau, a 4.5 on Trustpilot. These things are hard to get in 2025. We really care about our customer service and our customers, and it shows up every single day. So it's imperative that you start today, which again is no problem because Cure offers a 7-month money-back guarantee. So if you start today and don't see the results that you were hoping for in the first 7 months, you can return it for a full refund. Look, is it worth the money? Let's do the math. A hair transplant, $15,000, and there's no guarantee you won't have to go back a second or a third time. Finasteride for life, that's $300 to up to $2,000 per year every year for the rest of your life, while getting terrible side effects. Here, it's a one-time purchase of under $1,000 that you can use for the rest of your life. And today, it's actually even on Black Friday sale. The best time of the year to buy, you get up to $400 off, which is our lowest price all year. I'm excited to tell you that right now is the best time to buy because we just launched our Black Friday sale. You can save $400 off your Cure device that you can't get any other time in the entire year. So now is the time. You've got a money-back guarantee. You've got scientifically proven results. You've got 125,000 other people that have benefited from this. And don't let it bother you anymore. Don't let it get under your skin. Take back control of your life and you'll be excited.